What's up, friends? I got my glasses on. You know what that means. It is time for another market watch video. So a lot of crazy movements in the Lorcana market over the past week. Everything seems to be going up right now. Supply is still constricted. It's only been a week, and I still think it's a bad time to be buying right now. If I were someone who was into selling cards, right now is a pretty good time to do it. Once again, this is not financial advice, just my personal opinions, and hopefully they're useful and you find this entertaining. So we're gonna take a quick look at some of the cards that we talked about last time. They're all up, as you can see. Some notable standouts here. We've got Tinkerbell here going up from $25 to $40. Sellers, not a bad time to sell, I would say. And we got Ariel with a nice 3x from $4 to basically $12. Maybe people are really into the Sapphire Amber Princess deck that she is part of. Maybe the popularity of Amber Steel is contributing to Tinkerbell and Ariel's huge rise right here. We got Ursula doubling, or almost doubling, and Kuzco more than doubling. Best rare in the game, in my opinion, from $8 to $20. I think that's a little crazy for a rare. $20 for a regular rare is just way too expensive. So again here, not much has changed in the market. Like, yes, technically there was more product that was released September 1st, but that obviously didn't really have that big of an impact on the supply. And now that people know sort of what to expect and that was the rest of the allocation, things are going to go up, maybe even until the next wave of cards in October. Once that wave goes on sale, I would expect everything to come down, as long as it's printed in a significant quantity. My hunch is that Ravensburger doesn't really want to leave all this money on the table. Basically, any money that would be going towards buying more booster boxes from them is now going to resellers in the form of markups. If you can, just be patient. I don't think it's worth rushing to grab all these cards. Maybe you need them for an event, but I don't know. I would probably try and find some budget decks to run in the meantime while you wait for prices to drop, because I don't think that these are sustainable. All right, and with that, let's talk about some specific prices of cards. So this first one, again, is just to level set. We've got Elsa at about the same price that she was last week, the enchanted version, obviously. I think what we're seeing here, basically, like this has actually gone down like 20 bucks. And I think it's the difference between the collectors and the players. And I think, this is very much a collector's card. If you just want to put Elsa in your deck, you don't need this version. So I think what we're seeing is that the supply of cards that people want to use to put in their deck is getting squeezed, and the collectors are willing to wait and not overpay as much for these more premium cards. And yes, this has only gone down 20 bucks, but it's still gone down when basically everything else has gone up. And that's pretty much the same thing for Belle as well. Belle last week was around $300. Now it's $245, which I think is a bit more reasonable for an enchanted card. I actually don't think that that's too far off from what I would potentially pay for an enchanted card. And some of them are significantly cheaper. I think the cheapest is Genie at like $140, which seems like a pretty decent deal to me. It's really hard to tell how many of these were really printed and how many boxes eventually are going to be opened and what the scarcity really is, but I don't think I'd be that upset to pay $140 for a enchanted card if I was in the market for that kind of thing, if I was trying to collect them, if I wanted to collect a set. So not too surprised with those prices. Elsa being $600 is still quite expensive, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if this settled around $300-400, and I'm probably waiting until then to grab one if I ever do. So another interesting one for us to talk about is Tinkerbell. So Tinkerbell went from $25 to, we're gonna call it $40. There's a few listings lower than that, but they're kind of not real listings. So we've got $40, $45. There are basically no cards on the market. There's 9 normal ones and 7 cold foils. And if you're going to be paying, what is this, $45 for a normal card, I would definitely pay an extra $5 for the cold foil. I don't think I'm buying either of them right now. I think this is crazy inflated, but the fact that those are so close in price means that if I was going to pick one up right now, I think the cold foil probably holds more value over time than the non-foil. All right, we'll talk about Hades for a second, up to $30 $30 from 25. Cold foil is at 40. I would not be upset to pick this card up for 26 bucks, 30 bucks. I think this is still one of the best legendaries in the game, and I think that over time it probably reaches the level of the legendary Belle and Rapunzel and Elsa, and this is basically half the price. So I think this card is being slept on a little bit. Again, I don't know if like this is the where prices will settle, or if the princesses are where the prices will settle. I think it's probably leans more this way, but if you're building a deck that wants to have Hades in it, like I wouldn't feel that bad about buying it right now. Got a near mint here with a pretty reputable person, looks like, for like $27. Definitely would not be that upset to buy this card for that price. So let's move on here. I didn't talk about this card last time, but I think this card's worth looking at. So Let It Go is $5, and actually it's more like $10. This one, we're not going to count that. So it's a $10 card, and you can get a cold foil for the same price basically. So this is another example of a card where you do not want to be buying the normal version of this. I think it's literally the same price. Definitely buy the cold foil if you're going to buy one. I'm probably going to buy a playset right now after this. I think it's a really good card, and I think it's going to get better over time as Sapphire becomes a more popular color. I think it's one of the best cards in that color, and I'm really surprised to see the normal card price like $1 cheaper than the foil card price. And now let's talk about a card that I think I probably should have talked about last week in the list of undervalued cards. I think the Stitch Carefree Surfer is very undervalued at $13. I think this card is quite good, and I think it gets better over time as Amber is opened up to more archetypes where you don't feel so bad playing a 7-cost card. It's inkable, draws you cards, really good stats. I think this card is definitely better than a $13 card. I think it's sort of down to the flavor of the month type of meta that we've seen over the last like 2 weeks, where people think that the best decks are already figured out and they're just going hard after those decks. I think that there's still room in the metagame for new decks to pop up, and I think Stitch is like quite good in general just on its own, and I think eventually a deck is going to come out where Stitch is a big player, and I really like this card. I don't think that this price is doing it justice. Definitely one that I would not feel bad about picking up right now at all. All right, we're back to Gantu. We're going to talk about him again. Maybe it's going to stay at $3 forever, but the cold foil is, I think, like $7, $8. I'm almost at a full playset of Gantus, and I'm definitely going to buy a couple more to get there. I don't know why. It's just funny. What else is there to say? Now, the last couple we talked about last time, we've got Genie and we've got Mickey Mouse. I think both are still pretty slept on. I think Genie at like $3.50 is pretty reasonable. $4, $5. Here's another one where the cold foil makes a lot more sense than the regular version. There's 44 cold foils on the market and 24 normal cards on the market. I don't know how long that lasts for in general, so I would be looking at the cold foil here for like $6. I'm probably going to be buying some of those. I think that's a reasonable price for this card. The one thing that is going against that is the fact that there's an enchanted Genie, and people, if they want to like truly bling out their deck, are probably going to go for that instead. But at $140 a piece, it probably prices out a lot of people, whereas the cold foil at $6 obviously doesn't. And then Mickey Mouse Artful Rogue, first real listing is basically $250 with shipping. Yeah, like $2-ish. I think that's way too low for this card. I think that this can be really strong, and I think that $2 like pretty cheap for a super rare. It's like one of the cheapest super rares out there, and I'm not quite sure why. So let's look at the cold foil here. We've got the cold foils $5, $6. I'm not that upset to pay that price, but it's 3 times less to buy the normal version of the card and get your play sets before it goes up in price. I could see this reaching aerial levels of, $12, $10 a card if people find a deck that this fits into, which I think will happen. I think it's just a matter of time. So that's it for this week. I'm going to be out of town the next couple weeks, so probably won't do another market watch video until I'm back. Hopefully prices will have calmed down a little bit at that point in time, but we'll see. So again, try not to buy things right now other than the few deals that exist out there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.